Uh-huh. Yeah, well. It's a lot of interesting things to think about. Here, would you be so kind to,
I'll
if you
do
feel
my
like it?
best. I'm not very good at this. I always get the correct stuff.
Then screw it up, that's fine.
Are you good at this? You can do it.
I didn't put out the candle or anything, it just,
Let's see.
just
All falling to shit here.
totally falling to shit.
Oh, God.
Well, part of me does miss the old self. Because, I didn't have the answers I thought I did, and that felt good. I gotta say, I knew what to do, when to do it, and now I'm just like, well, shit.
Yeah, that sounds like you've graduated from Mr. Natural School.
Yeah, I came here, for some insight, I guess, and perhaps get some resolution, but I honestly have, no more clarity, despite the fact that the conversation was great, and, really seemed to, answer a lot of my questions, but, I just still have no more clarity as to what to do,
Yeah. If someone is wishing to get a sense of what to do,
We're in the wrong place, right?
well, that's lovely. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
And there is something to do. Of course there is. To say there's nothing to do is, just as glib as insisting as you must do something.
Well, no, I mean, is there, the right thing to do? This is the best course of
Well, now you're qualifying it,
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. That's what it's
but that's what mind does. It heaps a whole bunch of insistences on the simplest of questions. And so you never really get to it. You never really get to it because the mind doesn't want you to get to it. Mind just wants you to continue to heap a bunch of qualifications and caveats onto your present experience so that you can remain under the influence of hallucination.
Glutton for the pain, man.
It's just a glutton for imagination. It doesn't know any better. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You could say the mind is, the inner child that will not heal, and heal as in H-E-E-L and H-E-A-L. It won't do
I
either.
don't know anything about that. Mine's all taken care of.
Yeah, yours is good to go.
Found in that wine glass.
Yeah. Well, thanks for opening the bottle.
Good wine, by the way.
We have our friend Terry to thank for it.
Very nice.
Terry, if you're listening, and I know you're not, thanks for the wine.
You never know, she could be. Want some, Frank? That's obviously a yes.
Hey, that's some nice wine.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, drawn from quite a
you.
lovely wine glass.
What grapes are in there?
Goods and red.
No.
It's a little strange to kick back in a way where you simply observe the doing occurring. The doing occurs, and that includes everything that you have to think about it.
Even the compulsive helping, right?
All of it. Yes. Yeah, nothing can be excluded from how this is expressing itself as it's expressing itself. It's all included. And you can look at the curiosity of your present experience through how many lenses? How about infinity? So as you look at the present experience through the infinity of any lens that comes to mind, then this refracts or reflects to itself, luminously to itself, through whatever lens it happens to be wearing. And you're not in control or in charge of the lens or the way the light passes through the lens that shines on your consciousness, that facilitates the creation of a universe where there is none. Compulsion is not an affliction of the self or the background field. Compulsion is merely an accoutrement or an affliction of mind itself. We might think that, oh, I'd like for my mind to be unafflicted. Well, how can it be? The mind is affliction. It is OCD.
It's a special ed kid for sure.
Yeah, everyone is a special ed kid. Our hats off to special ed kids, of course. No political incorrectness in this
No, we
this
are-
world.
Well,
Mhm.
We all have our special needs, so.
Rastafarian. Okay, so let's just say the entirety of mind, which is the presence of, reference, self-luminous reference appearing right about now, is of the nature of mind. We don't even have to say what it is. It's like you understand the entirety of mind without having to be lectured about it or being told various things about it. You understand through firsthand experience the entire cacophony of mind. And what is it about you, within you, that's capable of apprehending flawlessly the entire canopy, cacophony of mind? What's that? That's not mind. Mind is a symptom appearing in your pristinity. If you chase mind, or as attention chases mind, it's really easy for attention to appear to adhere to mind and then self-identify. So attention left alone by itself doesn't have anyone to play with except itself. And that's an interesting rabbit hole. But attention, you could say, is easily loves to play with the nearest puppy, which happens to be mind, because mind is evocative and humorous and crazy and seductive and comparative and argumentative, and of course always right, and loves fear and apprehension and loathing and justification and affection and grand acts of heroism, profound emotivity. Right? All of that appears in mind. It's like it's fucking drunk, as soon will I be, with itself. Well, I'm always drunk with myself, but now through the help of wine, I guess.
It's kind of like it likes a good story about itself.
It does.
Just like anyone likes a good story about themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, tell me a story about myself.
You know, like there's no such thing as bad, is it bad press or something?
Right.
What's there when there isn't a story?
Yeah, that's not a what, but what's a good question. Yeah. What, where, why, when, how? What are the qualities of your present experience when no story is told about your present experience? You're quality-less. It's like, why is snow white? Well, it reflects, right, everything. So it looks white, but is it white or is it clear? Or if you look in the middle of a snow mound on a sunny day, it has this incredible blue hue like the sky. Yeah. So your present nature, what is it if you have nothing to say about it? Find out what that feels like. Cultivate it, chase it, stalk it, hunt it down, kill it, put it over a flame and eat it, for God's sake. Don't go vegan on the truth. Hunt it, stalk it, kill it, skin it, bleed it, eat it, then drink the blood. Yeah. Go whole hog on reality and take it to task. Don't be so timid.
What seems to be there, if you can entertain that space for a little few moments, is the drama that's surrounding us, the stories that are self-creating. There's an observer position.
You know what? The observer position congeals with the content. Without the content, there's no observer position.
The observer is a story.
Yes,
You're telling yourself.
yes, yeah, right. In other words, there's what's so, and we have, for good reason and with all due affection, suggested that this is of the nature of, an observer operating at a sufficiently nuanced frequency that things appear to it.
Mhm.
Not the case. Because without a story told, without content, the observer turns out to be empty-handed. Yeah.
Like stations of the cross
Uh-huh.
are the successive positions of revelation.
Yeah. This is at least as clever as you are, maybe even more so,
Maybe
right?
I think you're right.
Yeah, don't underestimate it.
This-
Maybe.
This smart fucker.
It may be even cleverer than me. And so it can figure out how to solicit or create the seduction of the presence of an observer.
Hmm.
So it continues to have something to say about itself. Boom.
Well, not doing is really difficult. So it seems.
Yes. Yes. If it's taken on as, let's say, a challenge, then it's more than difficult. You can say it's impossible.
Mhm.
Because once we've fetishized it, it's too late. You're already doing. Yeah. Yeah. So make this about nothing. Even you could say the Zen or yogic invitation to not doing. How about fuck not doing? Gives a shit.
Let it ride.
Let it ride. I mean, it's riding you,
Mhm.
When do you think you're going to get off this bus? When you want to?
Well, there's something about seeing that you're not doing it while all the action's going on that does seem to make it then feel like you're not doing while you're doing. Like it doesn't seem maybe as strenuous or, you know what I mean? Like, oh, stuff's happening.
You know how much marvelous symmetry and symptoms will appear to you in the routine of your life as you pass through the water slide and get denuded. All kinds of subtlety will arise in the rhythm of what you call your, so-called daily life as the floor gets pulled out from underneath you and everything turns out to be a serendipitous wonder field of not self. And it's not even that necessary to be greedy for that. Because the moment you're greedy for, things to show up in your so-called life in a certain way, then again, the reflex to fetishize what you think this is occurs about that quickly. And then we're on a road of perdition, which is to compare. Yeah. Comparison keeps us alive as mind. Comparison makes it appear as if something is happening. It's happening to you. And you have a really good story to share about it. And that's cool. No harm, no foul, as they say. It's just that it just so happens to be that the ambiguous holism of what this is happens to be exactly that right now. This is Ramakrishna's room. This is the Bodhi tree. This is whatever circle of fire Jesus may have sat in. This is it.
I was waiting for my mother for an appointment today, and I was like reading. I started out on my phone just to try to get a grip. And,
It's a good way to get a grip. Help me, Nirsagadata, help me. It's like Mr. Wizard, right? I hear you.
There was something about it's like you're in a cage and the tigers are around the cage, and then the cage is free, and then you're riding the tiger or something. You're on the wave, or you're the tiger.
You're now confused. Am I the tiger or the wave?
Yeah, help me out.
Help again.
Mind can fast. It doesn't have to. It's not a precursor, but mind can fast. Be on the lookout for it. And it does so more easily than we imagine. And you could say with whatever degree of repetition may be our karma to fulfill, the more we play around with not knowing as a social event, then the texture of recognizing yourself without content, without genesis, you could say strengthens. You get more accustomed to yourself with a fasting mind. All transmission is is the conveyance, the shared appreciation of a fasting mind. Some people might stare at a photograph of their guru, if their guru is, say, realized, or whatever. And just the image of the guru in that presence, alive or deceased, will assist in a harmonic of fasting mind. Or tratak on a candle, right? Focusing on candle flame. Or jhana practice, right? Subtle breathing practice. Or the teachings of the yoga of radiant presence that help you feel the mystifying radiant nature of your present experience. and the ambiguity and the irresolvability of that present experience. Everything is a way in. How about everything that's showing up as in right about now is nothing but fasting mind, the revelation of the Godhead. And the reason that we refuse it is because there's an activization of, oh, I've got a better idea. Dear
I've got
God,
a lot of better ideas.
dear God, give me a quick tea. Give me a quick timeout. I've got a better idea. That's what mind does. I've got a better idea. Listen to this one. Yeah. Ooh, I got a better idea. Do you? So fasting mind is just a phrase that helps us to recognize that this, whatever you feel like calling it this evening, it could be inner peas or inner bean or a glass of wine or rigpa, I don't care what we call it. No, tonight reality is going to be renamed Natura. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it Natura. It's like being in one of those cool space movies with a different language.
Solaris.
Yeah.
Natura.
That's right. We're going to the Natura tree to put on a bender. Mind appears in presence. Reference, reflection, belief, superstition, knowledge, comparison, measure, temporality, spatiality. They all appear in presence, or they appear in natura. They can do what they please. They can just fuck off as far as I'm concerned. Or not. Or maybe I'll get really interested in something like fear. What's going to happen to me? Oh, I have such regret. That bastard. Or not. What could be fun is that stories could be told or repartee could be engaged in, but not interfere with fasting mind. The notion that you have to sit quietly with your eyes closed or open or rolled up or whatever is somewhat trivial.
Why do your eyes naturally roll up anyway?
Yeah.
It's weird, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone must know. So as we make slow and steady and fitful, call it progress, with the texture of fasting mind, then it's all contributory. Then the reason to come together, hang out together, share some snacks and sneezes together is, in, you could say, kind of a celebration of fasting mind. It's a small church. Don't expect it to be standing room only anytime soon. But that's it, because if you show up to have this kind of a conversation, if it turns out it nourishes you somehow, then, you're in the water slide. You're in tumbling about and solvent. It's taking everything away without taking anything away. Isn't it fun to have even just a few moments of like, well, I sure don't know what to do. And better that, I sure don't care that I don't know what to do. Cessation of self is cessation of destiny, cessation of continuity, cessation of having come here with something, or wanting to leave with or without something. It's not to discourage anyone from having some ideas or, a good story to tell, or a curiosity about the nature and texture of consciousness. Is even a more subtle way of engaging with a fasting mind. And we're not insisting on some kind of cessation or absence of thought. No, it's better than that. The textural confidence in what's absolutely present, without having to know what's present, catalog what's present. There is a very powerful force, which is the force of distraction, the force of, convergence, divergence. It could go either way. But that force is the force of association. Which qualifies the present beatitude. And that's a powerful force. I mean, you qualify the present beatitude, and all of a sudden it or you are about something. And
you're on a mission.
You're absolutely on a mission, either toward or away from. Yeah. Yep. And concomitant with this powerful force, the powerful distracting force, har, 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 is, well, fuck me, myself. Without quality. Same moment, same platform, same train even. You go to the front of the car, you're in distraction, or you go to the rear of the car and you're in transcendence. And the front of the car and the rear of the car are not separate. Distraction and transcendence happen to be the same. But the recollection of distraction, you could say, begets the appearance of more distraction. The recollection of transcendence, curiously enough, begets the signature, the aroma of transcendence. And each moment, you could say, is absolutely unconditioned. So it's free to recall what it pleases. It can recall qualities instantaneously, a whole universe full. It can also recall nothing at all. And they're not different. You're neither entrapped by distraction nor are you entrapped by nirvana. Nirvana can fuck off. We think that distraction's a big deal, so we have a lot to complain about. And therefore we think that nirvana would be all the shit because distraction sucks. Nirvana would be cool. Well, nirvana can just fuck off. So then we don't have any more news. We don't have any more juice to complain about our distraction because we're no longer thinking that nirvana is going to be some preferred resolution. Everything and everyone can just fuck off in a good way, in a loving and compassionate, equanimous and hippopotamus kind of way. The reply to everything that everyone says is correct. What else could it be but correct? Because I'm not here long enough to even agree or disagree with you. So I'll just say correct and move along. Unless, of course, you feel like picking a fight. That's fun too.
Yeah, I didn't quite get the power of your friend's statement correct until the second or third time you said it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I see now.
Yeah, boy, it can really get under your skin. Oh, it's potent. In one way, correct can appear to be as a dismissal of someone else. But it has a deeper implication. It's a more powerful tool. When you say correct, it's the dissolution of yourself. That's where it has a lot of magic. I mean, dismissing other people, that's not too difficult to do, right? I mean, we do that 24/7, ourselves included, masters of dismissal. But when we say correct, then that lets everybody off the hook and resolves us of any adhesion, any karmic adhesion. That's the magic. That's the big juice.
Yeah, that's why I came to. I was like, I can't say with 100% certainty that like you're not wrong or that you're not right. Like,
No. Yeah. Wrong and right. Wrong and right. Wrong and right. Oof. Oh. But still, you can be irritable when things are wrong and gleeful when they're right. No harm. There's no expectation that one, sits on a stone smoking a bidi that's gone out 30 years ago and just doesn't know. There are people like that, they must be a lot of fun to hang with. Hey, dude, hey, your bidi went out, and they're just sitting there like this, and you're like, hey, dude, hey, your bidi went out, man. And they're just like, no reply. So you go for it a third time. Hey, dude, hey, your bidi's out, and you wake the Godzilla, you wake the dragon, and they turn and they look at you and they just fry your entire consciousness with a glimpse, and then they turn back to their bidi. You got yours.
Oh yeah, I'll do today, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No. It just sounds really cool. I wanted to happen to me.
It is cool, yeah. Hey, dude, your bidi went out. You're toast. Isn't it wild to hear yourself not think? hanging out like this is, well, it's a gift. It's a benediction. It's truly an opportunity for time off from one's self. Let's just say that's the most we can wring out of it. We're all distracted from meditating and, doing japa and doing all the Hail Marys that the good Father told us to do since last time we went to confession. We're easily distracted. But we come hang out like this, it's like, oh, wow, I can actually commit to 2 hours of not being anybody at all, or an hour and a half, whatever it is.
At the same time on the shoreline, or are we on Eastern time, or?
So how did you meet Peter Brown?
Oh, through some bad luck.
I had watched some of his videos on YouTube like years ago.
I was trying to avoid him at all costs, but it didn't work.
And where's this little thing, Dosan, being held?
Most likely in this room.
Right here?
Depends on the, number of people that express interest.
So looking like so far, do we have to rent a stadium or anything?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be very fun, would it?
Peter Brown at the Stabler Arena.
I like it here, you don't have the windows. The breeze.
What was that Christian gospel preacher dude? He could fill a stadium, right? The real famous guy.
Joel Osteen,
Joel Austin.
that guy feels like a fucking, isn't that a
There are many preachers that fill
Billy
stadiums.
Graham. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
really weird.
I guess maybe Joel. Whatever.
Joel
I
Osteen.
never heard of him. Must not be that good.
The Dalai Lama can kind of stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't serve wine.
No. And it sells out
How come the Dalai
quickly.
Lama doesn't, he'd be down with some wine.
I don't know.
Well, you wonder about the nature of demonstrative renunciation, like robes or
No wine and no sex.
celibacy, yeah,
Yeah.
things like that. Like, so what? Who cares? It's like you make such a big deal about the rhythms of life that you should withdraw from drama and family and intercourse and murder and divorce and more murder and
You can piddle little kids.
yeah. I mean, well, as if
Yeah.
some kind of renunciation from what we call the world is advantageous somehow, or that a culture should be built around renunciation, like monkey see, monkey do Buddha.
It's funny because that's all this is. It's really just trying to renunciate most of what this is. And then, maybe retain some tiny make-believe portion.
How about reality is self-liquidating from moment to moment? There's nothing even to renounce.
Yeah.
So if the Buddha had any fucking sense, and I'm beginning to doubt that he had any at all, he would have said, hey, dudes, this is self-renouncing. Go about your business. But instead, they created this horrific monstrosity of a renunciate culture. But it wasn't really his fault. That was already present in India, right? And for how long, was some renunciate culture created? And you wonder about the genesis of renunciate cultures in the life of the species, right? The sociology and anthropology of the species, right? I mean, renunciate cultures were present before the church, right?
Well, it's pretty simple. It's like the average animal goes out and gets food and mates, and that's it. But
Yeah.
with humans, like you can do that and more, and you're like, but it's still not enough. And it's so you're like, all right, let's try the other direction.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's logical
All
process of elimination.
all is a contrivance. Buddhism is a contrivance. Hinduism is a contrivance. The Vedantic Upanishads is a contrivance. And yet they're all miraculously reflective of, the genuine nature of reality. How could they be otherwise? But you don't wake up necessarily through the vehicle of those superstitions. You might have a better chance of waking up by avoiding them altogether. And though there's plenty of evidence of, folks waking up within the body and bosom of those traditions as card-carrying members.
You can't really say either way. I mean,
Well, I can because I'm crazy.
well,
Yeah.
sure, you can say, but not with confidence. Well, not with
No,
fact.
no,
It's like,
that's gone.
who's to say which one is more successful, and who's to say that you're not like already, successful when you just happen to be inside of that framework or that
Yes,
organization, and it's like you would have been successful either way.
that's right.
Yeah, I was like reading something about the default mode network, which is like this sort of blah, blah, blah narrative they always have, but then it was saying, oh, they recently found like okay, psychedelic, some of the psychedelics seem to dismantle that, but then so does aging. So it's like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah.
So does aging, and we're all aging, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not you, of course. Don't worry.
I have to have more wine. Fuck, what bad news.
That's the hard revelation right there. We're all aging.
So we're all dismantling our default mode network, hopefully, so.
Nice.
It's again, the dodo bird verdict, all have won and all will receive prizes.
Good the ghost.
Something over there, like munching. Did you hear that?
Yeah, there's
like
something
it was
moving around.
munching.
Yeah.
Wasn't me?
No. There's like
Must be
a
a little-
squirrel.
Is there a
or
mouse?
something.
Or something?
Probably, yeah. I hear
Something's
Yeah.
over there munching, dude.
I totally hear
Yeah.
it. Oh, no.
It's got its own inner P's and inner D's. It's a whole other dimension over there having its own nice guy song. And it's like, yeah, we got wine and
It's the creatures
peas
on
and
the
beans
shore.
over
Huh?
here too.
Mice always show up when you're worshiping Ganesh.
Oh,
They're companions.
There.
Have you heard anything about the nanobot skin?
Well, except the things that I've seen in science fiction movies.
In your own.
What I've heard is that Silicon Valley is on a tear
Yeah.
Must be
to,
all the smart
to
drugs they're
prove
taking.
that the Christ story has validity.
Why do we need them to interfere? We already knew that. What's so,
'Cause they're
Well,
smart.
have a machine do it.
have a machine rise from the dead? Yeah, it's like starting your lawnmower in the spring. That's like an ascension, rising
That's
from
what
the
it's all
dead.
about.
Yeah.
In terms of nootropics, maybe? Forget.
Smart drugs. I'm not too familiar with that. Nootropics.
I think that's the term. It might be something different, like different type of brain enhancing drugs.
Krishnamurti warned about the coming confluence of artificial intelligence and
What?
animated robotics.
You can, it's not going to slow down.
He said this, you know, in some of his later talks before he passed. He said, "Watch out."
Did you see a Clockwork Orange, or I mean not a Clockwork Orange?
How
the
old
other
were you
one.
with?
It's coming down the slide, your water slide.
2001 Space Odyssey.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Probably
unstoppable.
saw all of those.
That was awesome.
Elon Musk will save us.
Yeah, thank goodness someone will.
But you still saw it. It's Christian Grey.
Well, you could say every generation would like to imagine that, you know, it has the right of manifest destiny. So the species might even think that it has.
Okay, that's not nice.
Oh, that's the giant mouse.
Every generation is a new revolution.
It's like a Hanuman visit.
We got Ganesh and Hanuman.
Phew.
Probably the
Whoa.
wine. They like wine, I think.
And Bob.
Oh, spirits.
They're like, finally, this party isn't so boring.
Spirits are, yeah, they're like, oh,
Hi.
good.
Snacks and wine.
Nice little
Kind
visitation.
of nice. This.
There you go.
We're loyal to our, you know, present form or formulation. And it's lost a little bit of steam lately, but there was a movement that was excitable for a little bit. I haven't heard much of it lately, called the, something like the acceleration, which was indeed welcoming of the marriage of human and, you know, robot-assisted enhancements, including the strides made in artificial intelligence.
Well, I wonder, lots of people are interested in that?
Yes,
That Ray Kurzweil.
Yeah.
whatever dude.
Kurzweil.
Kurzweil, yes.
And his whole
It's being
plan.
funded by Google.
okay, sure, they have the money to do
$500
it.
million.
Yeah, they have the money to play with it, absolutely. It's like the Terminator. The Terminator will come true.
Hmm.
That's a good metaphor for the clash of the hegemony of the surviving species could turn out to be, you know, a hybrid consciousness.
I say let the machines win.
Yeah, just lay it down. Yeah,
We are a parasite.
right. Total
Stephen
parasite.
Smith was right.
Yeah, you guys go for it. Kill me or just live my life out. I'm not going to bother you. Best of luck. Inherit the earth, inherit the wind. You have my blessing.
As long as I get to imaginarily eat good steak.
Put me back
Yeah.
there. You make me famous. More
Yeah.
important.
Well, in the Matrix
Have
thing,
lots of money and drink good wine.
in the Matrix thing, that, you know, that was the conflict between a total unicity of machine culture that lived according to some, you know, bizarre inner authority, a unicity of consciousness, and the human, which prides itself on being biologically, emotionally, preferentially individuated, right? So the humans made a deal with the machine culture, thanks to Keanu Reeves, that the machine culture would permit the humans to more or less thrive or survive in whatever numbers they were permitted, you know, to do, and not be completely decimated by the machine culture. That was the win, that the humans would continue to enjoy specificity and individuation, and therefore the, you know, pleasure and preference of procreation. Okay. And that the machines were like, okay, you parasitic fuckers, all right, no problem. We'll let you live. They were like, yes! It's like Picard overwhelming the Borg with Data's assistance. Yeah, taking out the Borg fuckers. Like Sylvester Stallone does so well with a big fat automatic weapon.
I do enjoy your pop culture references.
Yeah. It's always fun.
It's too antithetical to our basic Puritanism that all this is about is absolute indulgent joy.
Yeah. If that we like make that an issue at every turn. It's
It's like-
really funny.
Not allowed.
Like,
It's
sure,
not
funny and
okay that this is just about resplendent, carefree, radiant joy.
Yeah.
That can't be it. That would be fucked up. This,
Where's the suffering?
yeah, really, this has to be about me getting over on something,
24/7.
on myself or somebody else, right? Me surviving in the, the great glory of some kind of accomplishment. Like, no. It's actually about selfless, resplendent joy that has no name. Go figure.
I mean, the fact that that's shocking for most people to hear is
Well, that's
enough evidence.
That's
to
right.
suggest that something's a little off.
right. What did you say?
Are you insane?
Are you insane? It couldn't possibly be that. It couldn't possibly be itself. No, it's got to be something other than itself. I insist. Okay, correct.
Correct. What's for lunch?
Yeah.
Pour me another one, just like the other one. I think it has to be a 2-bottle night in order to start slurring.
Didn't really get anywhere.
I can't break through on one bottle. Wow. Every resource and every reference that we can possibly imagine is nothing. You don't have anything to lean back on to define yourself. It was like the perfection of our dear Shailene Woodley is her name? Woodley, right? I don't want to spoil the most recent installment in the, what's it called?
Divergent, insurgent, or not.
Divergent series, the second half of the Divergent
that one
series.
First movie
Yeah.
sucked, man.
Was it?
I thought it could have been a little better. Yeah.
My
I'm
brother
like
liked-
sort of a movie nerd, so I get hard on things sometimes.
I thought it was alright.
I'm easily entertained by any sci-fi, even if it's got Bela Lugosi in it.
And usually stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple.
I'm just a pushover for, I'll believe anything. Did that really happen?
I
Oh,
mean, I thought it was a good concept.
well, it comes to an interesting fruition in the second installment.
That whole like genre just seems a bit played out for me. Like,
Well, they all
teen
came out
popper, like
the same thing.
Yeah,
Like
it's
there was
like-
another one. It was all the same. They put everyone in the little categories.
You mean they compared the vampire franchise to this franchise, and you could see all the same archetypal characters line up?
Yeah.
Did you ever see Gattaca?
Yeah, see, that's like old. That's back when the movie was really good. Is Jude Law, right?
Jude Law.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Was that the one where they switched positions and they went to space thing?
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke went to space and had plenty of Jude Law's blood to prove it.
You want a good movie, you gotta watch Revolver.
I've never seen that.
It's a Guy Ritchie film. It's like not just like
Another movie buff. You guys should get together and hang out and talk about stuff.
yeah, watch Revolver. I think it's 2005. Guy Ritchie. That's my favorite movie.
Has anybody seen Interstellar?
I'm meaning to.
I saw Interstellar when it just first came out
You did.
in California in an IMAX theater.
Oh, this guy.
Take that.
With Peter Brown, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Somebody that famous?
Yeah.
You are.
Mm-hmm. I am committed to pumping myself up at every opportunity.
Suck it.
Suck it. Bam!
I don't really like that many movies though. I think TV is a lot better than movies like nowadays, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what were you gonna say about the movie?
The Divine Mother sets you free when she's good and ready. That's how it goes
Is
down.
that what it's about? Jesus. Is that what it's working out your non-divine mother?
Not that again.
I'm breaking out my mother issues again, once again. That's right. So you can see that the profundity of distraction is on you like flies on shit, pretty much 24/7.
Non-stop.
Yeah. Because this is effusive and evocative and playful, imaginative and refractive and fractal and highly pixelated and everything else that you can say about it. It's just unbelievable, the profusion that we are confronted with from moment to moment. And one of the things that's in the field of profusion happens to be the nature of discursive rumination. So just because discursive rumination appears in the field of profusion, we think I am, which is just, you could say, an organic consequence of attention being given to discursive rumination. Discursive rumination can't come to any other conclusion except, oh, me. It's not capable of having another conclusion other than, I, me, mine. That's okay. That's fine. Discursive rumination only has one destination, no matter what train you get on. They all go to the same place, which is I, me, mine. The Beatles wrote a tune about it. And so any effort or attempt we try to make for discursive rumination to deliver something other than I, me, mine fails. It's not your fault.
I was trying to get enlightened though.
Well, you still should try. Don't give that up at all. Just recognize along the way that trying to get enlightened through the portal of discursive rumination or attention being given to discursive rumination is just I, me, mine. So that's obviously not the way. You're good. You're like any of us. We're in a maze. You've taken a certain turn. You're like, fuck, man, this is I, me, mine. There's no way to break into the center of this thing because every conduit I take through discursive and rumination is I, me, mine. I've got to find another path. Another portal. Yes. I must find another portal, then discursive rumination and the continuity of the false sense of I. Rock and roll. It's a nice challenge. Simple one, actually, once you boil it down. Once you make a reduction sauce out of it, it's a kind of a simple challenge. Well, fuck, everything that's appearing in discursive rumination is I, me, mine, and that's not the way. Whoa, fuck, I'm fucked. God, what do I pull out of a hat? What other portal might be possible or present for me to sojourn into, which doesn't end up in I, me, mine? Whoa, that's tall order. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of times that impulse arises and I remedy it with something that resembles I, me, mine.
Yes, of course.
It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay,
Yep.
that got you far.
Really, boom. Oh, God.
See if we can do that.
Ran right into I, me, mine. That's smarts.
Here's the portal. No, it's just I, me, mine.
You could say life is just going through every tunnel we can find until we find the one that, doesn't bump into I, me, mine. And so the Divine Mother is the one that's really holding the keys to this, you see, because she is the mother of all distraction, the mother of all presentation and profusion. You can't deny the Divine Mother because she is the matrix of all profusion. So the smart yogis, they're few and far between, but the smart ones, they worship the Divine Mother because if you even garner the slightest bit of favor, she'll lift the gate. And they knew this. Yeah. But she's very crafty, because if your supplication of the Divine Mother has to do with Mother, lift the gate. She's got you.
Stay in the bardo.
She's got you. You have to convince the Divine Mother that you're in it out of love of her supreme. That's the trick.
Too much of a bastard for all that.
I know. Of course. I get it. And this is all metaphoric, so you find your own way to it within the context of your own karma. Yeah. So if you're trying to please the Divine Mother because you want her to lift the gate so that you can get enlightened, she knows what you're up to.
Yeah, give me something.
Yeah, and she knows what you're up to, and she's like, that won't appreciate your affection and your recognition for sure, but no, that won't do. You're like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do to get out from under I, me, mine. So life pretty much whittles you down to nothing. It whittles you down to just zero. And if you're lucky, as you go to zero, you can turn your face back to her and say, Ma, I just love you. I'm done. I apologize. It was rude of me to suggest that there was something other than you here now. I'm in it just for the love. And she's like, right, correct, she says.
I'm not playing Let's Make a Deal
Yeah.
anymore.
She says, correct. And then the veil is lifted. You see? That's how it works. And of course, she's very generous so that she gives you both the means to suffer, the great whittling down, and she gives you the means, which is truly beyond our capacity, for an affection which has no boundary. That's what she wants from you, from me, from us, from this, from herself. She wants the affection that has no boundary. And once she's whittled you down to pure fucking zero, you might discover the capacity of affection that has no boundary. Then the veil is lifted. But between now and then, have some wine, a few, sweet dried vegetables and talk it over. What else can we do? We're all in a halfway house.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah, this is the halfway house of I, me, mine. We're all fucked silly. And we realize that the journey that we're on is the discovery of an affection that has no boundary. Whew. And we're fucked up and conditioned and full of regret, stupidity, and anger. So it takes a while. It takes a while. Fuck you. So, okay. Let the solvent have its way with you. That's all. Let it take you out. Go to zero. When you go to zero, there's nothing left. You don't have a quarrel with the Divine Mother anymore. You don't have a hidden motive, a hidden agenda. You're not bargaining with her anymore. You're not supplicating anymore. You're so down at her feet. Completely zero. Ma, it's been a pleasure to love you. I do apologize for all of the guile that I've suffered from this long. She's like, bam, you're free. Veil lifted. That's how this works. Again, within the context of your karma.
Yeah, it's just vague enough to last a million lifetimes.
It is. She knows her shit, man. She can really wrap you up into a long, long routine, a long relationship. Yep. Mm-hmm. See, aiming for enlightenment, it turns out, is not that good an idea. Because you'll fail, because she's onto you. Plus, the reason we're interested in it typically is as an ameliorative, as a substitute, the lesser of two evils, or to write books and attract cash and attention. So she's onto you. She's like, no, that won't do. I want you all to myself. I want the entirety of you. Not an agenda, not a supplication, not an alternative. I want all of you. And so she flatlines you to zero. And that's the revelation, you see. Now enlightenment is not a fetish any longer. It's not something to get as a gift, as the result of supplication. No, it's stranger. Yeah, you're released from any adhesion with discursive rumination.
Mm.
Wouldn't that be fucked up?
Mm.
Wouldn't that be cool? She releases you from identification and adhesion with discursive rumination.
As soon as you say that, I have more rumination about what it would be.
No problem. So does she.
Immediately triggers.
So does she. She's she's like, oh, let's think about it. Let's think it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When the Buddha referred to cessation and nibbana, cessation and nirvana, depending on the Pali or the Sanskrit, the cessation was of adhesion, not profusion. Emptiness turns out not to be empty. Emptiness is profusion. Profusion is emptiness. The penetration is the adhesion. Released from any adhesion with discursive rumination.
Mm.
Wow. Through no effort, through no vow, no preparation, no renunciation.
You don't need to embrace my inner being or contemplate my inner pee.
Well, it's always good to pee.
Yeah. So you don't wet the chair.
It's a good thing you said that through no effort. Because my mind's instantly like, good, I will just calmly let all these thoughts go. And I can do
Almost.
this.
I'll notice all the arisings and passings I possibly can. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll embrace my inner being.
She assists us in exhausting all of the reflex to get over on this. That's what she's good for. She's good for whittling us down, so she exhausts all of the reflex to try to make this about something, to try to apply ourselves.
I guess that's why when people hit so-called stream entry, they lose that, right? I mean,
Yes. That's what stream entry means, right?
So I'm
Yeah.
good at something then. I'm good at something then.
Yeah.
Failing.
Good at failing.
I can do that, right?
Stay there. Stay there.
I'm really
Shit.
Yeah. If you're good at failing,
good.
God, you're like
Eventually I'll get it, right?
way ahead of the pack. Yeah. Yeah. Fail like a banshee. Yeah.
Turns out
It's a little
that's
bit-
is the way to go.
It's counterintuitive to the popular culture.
Yeah. Well, yeah, one time I asked you, how do you know if, how do you know, what if you're deluding yourself? And you're like, well, you don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's in your head now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't matter. You can't find an authority here, including the one that you imagine is you.
Yeah. Well, what the hell then?
That's exactly what the t-shirt says. Well, what the hell then? Yeah. Well, what the hell then, Sangha? Yeah, that's right. What the hell then? You're not comprised of agency. You're not made of consequence. What the hell then is all you got. It's real fun to feel the subtle genesis of who you took yourself to be slip away.
I find it more like this internal screaming.
Yes, that's good.
I guess that could be fun. I don't know. Yeah.
Screaming's good.
Oh, yeah, I read a tweet from Jed McKinnon today. It said, oh, it's like having a really bad stomach flu and you're just expelling like everything out.
Uh-huh. He's big on that kind of somatic demonstrations of the process of enlightenment. That's why he's kind of popular. It's the same kind of folderol, not unlike Eckhart Tolle's Pain Body.
I feel like I'm teething. Is that a thing?
Yeah, teething's in. You're in.
But it's not like that for everybody, right? I mean, everybody describes.
No. Jed McKenna wrote some really very evocative and funny books, overemphasizing, you could say, somatic and psychological demonstrations of the unfolding of enlightenment, as if it's, as if that's the way it looks. It's like, that's fun. I mean, it's a fun view. But then people have come to this room actually, and I don't know, in hopes of finding Jed McKenna, as if I had anything to do with him. And I disappointed them so terribly, probably to my great benefit. They didn't come back. But I think, to me, they almost seemed like they had some kind of masochistic agenda going on, that they wanted to come into a place that would ruin them demonstratively. You're like,
It's like the sadomasochism of enlightenment or something.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Especially the Christians that could turn to Buddhism. Christians that turn to Buddhism are kind of the worst, because especially the Italian ones. Italian Christians, Italian Catholics that turn to Buddhism are the most dangerous, because then they get,
They're sort of a pleasure-seeking lot, and
Yeah.
authority in general.
Yeah. Yeah. they go all pleasure seeking in a certain kind of masochism. But that's, that's the self-flagellating, right, Italian Catholic
Mhm.
thing.
Maybe, I don't know. I hear all those preset mistresses there. I don't know.
Well, that's why the flagellation feels so good afterwards. Yeah, they don't even have time for a
It goes
cigarette.
both ways. It's an extreme in either direction.
Darling, stay. Let's have a cigarette. I've got to get to the whip.
Yeah, you go from underindulgence to overindulgence or something.
Yeah, maybe. There's a boomerang kind of. That's what they kind of extreme, I guess.
Hey, this is libidinal, right? The entirety of creation is, exploding unapologetically with libidinal, right? Energy and repetition, repercussion, penetration, and the cycling of, energy and matter through portals called black holes. Yeah. That's why, part of the reason why these, renunciate cultures, I don't know, I think they're kind of psychically outdated, archetypally outdated. They've run the course. They're of the same mind as the misanthropic cultures that they thrive in. Yeah.
Typically, the Buddhists they're not necessarily lifelong monastics, like they.
No,
As
Western.
opposed to like Catholic monastics.
Yeah, well, Westerners have all been. Many Westerners have been allowed to take robes and practice the art of demonstrative renunciation for a period of time, and then exit that commitment. I can't speak to whether that's also, that same kind of revolving door is present in the Asian cultures that practice it. I know scholars who would know the answer to that, but we don't talk.
If this was a call-in show, we could have some.
I wish it were a call-in show. Yeah,
Yeah.
caller, you're on.
Long time listener.
Yeah.
There's the Gorgeous George call-in public access show.
I don't think so, but it sounds like a hoot.
Yeah, who just called in. Gorgeous George is I think it was like a pro wrestler, like villain.
I remember Gorgeous
and
George.
had a
Yeah.
public access show where you could call in, and he had his team had all these wild opinions, and
That's neat.
people just called in and really got this guy riled up, and it was
Oh, great.
hilarious on live television.
Did he wear like a leopard skin?
I forget
Trunk?
his costume.
He did.
Right? Gorgeous George had a leopard, and he had blonde hair, or like platinum blonde hair combed back, and he had a certain kind of Ken doll beauty about him. Yeah. All muscled up. Nice.
Was he during the heyday of all the big?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Did you find the mouse? Find the mouse?
No, I am the mouse. I'm looking for.
I am he as we are they, as I am she, and we are all together. Goo goo gachoo. See how they run like pigs from the gun. See how they fly.
I never knew they were real big into, what's his name? Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
The Beatles?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't
a
think
year ago.
they were that big into him, really. I mean,
They just went that like one time or something?
Yeah, I thought
well,
the one-
George Harrison, drifted away from Maharishiism more toward, Krishna consciousness, but not necessarily a purveyor of ISKCON. Right?
Mhm.
And the others more or less, just, man, what the fuck? They say that Sexy Sadie was John Lennon's gesture, outing the Maharishi.
Was that like his?
Sexy Sadie, what have you done? You made a fool of everyone. Yeah. So some say that was written.
Isn't Dear Prudence about Mia Farrow's sister? She was.
No, I thought Dear Prudence was actually about someone's dog.
Well, one of those about Mia Farrow's sister who would meditate all the time.
Yeah, I heard that, and she got kind of crazy from it.
Yeah, and
Well,
I think he tried
Oh.
to come on to her too, I think.
Well, I thought Helter Skelter was about
Charles
it was Charles Manson, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that Mia Farrow's sister who died at the hands of Charles
No,
Manson?
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski's wife, who was in.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, I'm having like a Forrest Gump moment.
But I think the Beatles denied that was about Charles. Oh, no, that's right. Charles Manson said that it was a message from the Beatles to go crazy and kill people. They took that song.
That's a good way to play it.
Yeah. And they said, no, it's about a big sliding board.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9. If you become naked. Number 9, number 9.
What was that about, that song?
I don't know. Best LSD in town.
Orange Sunshine, yeah, shit.
Number 9, number 9. What was the topic tonight?
Ishkan.
ISKCON. That's a good topic.
Is Tom closer?
That's what I initially was talking about, the Hare Krishna movement.
Oh, okay, I've never even heard of that.
That's like the acronym for the foundation's name.
Oh,
The
okay.
Inner Super, what's it called?
International Society of Krishna Consciousness.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's the Hare Krishnas?
Well, that's one. That's the branch that
Yeah.
nefariously sold Bhagavad Gitas at airports.
Oh, okay. The ones who have the good vegetarian buffet in Tucson?
That's exactly the group.
The guy with the leg sitting on the chair, but there's some scary sights over there. in Tucson.
Well, that's why they were created, so that good vegetarian buffets could be available in the airport.
To expect some kind of idealized persona to accompany the sloppiness of your own realization is a bit naive. Your realization is wild and cantankerous, and it's made of you. It has everything that you're made of in it. It's a customized broth. It's a stew, right? And for sure, it's fermented and fermenting, so it will make you
So
groggy.
it's a ratatouille.
It's like a ratatouille. Yeah. In this way, you're off the hook from thinking that you need to emulate someone that dresses in ochre robes or white robes or lives to 115 and eats, a perfectly a diet made of yogurt and pistachios.
That doesn't sound like that. That sounds like yogurt.
Yeah.
They sound terrible together, though. I mean,
No, they're good together.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. So when your mind fetishizes a certain period,
Just thinking about the.
or your mind fetishizes a certain kind of celebrity, or your mind fetishizes practices and fruits of practice, or preparations and purifications associated with practice, then you become entrapped by that.
Well, you're kind of back to being like a person in a world with stuff to do and a place to get.
Well, there are a lot of yogis, Western and Asian and Indian and elsewhere, that pride themselves and sell themselves based on yogic accomplishment and yogic knowledge and yogic dissemination and yogic healing, or, yogic events, demonstrations of, whatever, enviable magical powers of some kind. And this is all entrapping. We're not trained very well in, the culture that we're a product of. We're trained, in a sense, to be somewhat self-oriented. And that has to do with, let's say, competitive encouragements that having to do with education and employment, or attracting a partner and having offspring so they can do it all over again. So there's like the repetitive quality. So the culture is not really very forgiving or instructive in terms of tuning us to the possibility, if not the birthright, of absolute liberation. The culture doesn't value liberation. It values repetition. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking of Western culture versus Eastern culture. You think that because they're sort of not as egoistic, that it would be different over there?
They're plenty egoistic. The
Yeah.
Indians and the Japanese and,
Yeah.
the Koreans, the Vietnamese, everyone is profoundly egoistic in their peculiar way.
Mhm.
I mean, the Chinese are like strangely egoistic. Like this little scuttlebutt recently about making sure that everyone that's dancing needs to follow government-approved dance moves. And the
What?
grandmothers are fighting back saying, would you just give it a fucking break?
Really?
Would you please give it a fucking break? But no, the Chinese are so crazy that if you're doing public dancing, that it has to be government sponsored and government approved dance moves, which are the most efficient for your health and well-being.
Oh, God.
You see,
Well,
because
good luck with that.
any movement of artistic individuation within the Chinese culture is threatening, right?
They come with a tank and they shoot you down if you start doing that.
Then if a bunch of grandmothers
different
don't
kind of
follow
movement.
the government approved moves, then the tanks will come.
They're like hyper focused on efficiency in some weird way. Like if you're a kid that has a certain talent, they like push you, you can only do that talent. There's no like
Divergence.
yeah, but it's like really like bizarrely focused on.
That's right. Abnegation,
Yeah, basically.
candor. That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That was the trial. That was the trial that the main character had to go through, is that she had to survive the simulation for each of the 5 or 6 groups. Yeah.
Did she survive them all?
I can't say a word about it,
No, I
Spoiler
haven't seen
alert.
the second one.
but it had a certain kind of closure. What can I say? Like, I'm easily entertained by
You are.
teeny bopper sci-fi
That is
movies.
very true.
I love her. I love her.
I love
I'll
them.
be like, that was really good, and I'll watch it and be like, oh.
But I mean, I just,
The Hunger Games.
yeah, I just thought the first one, I love the concept. I just thought it
I like
needed
the Hunger-
a little something more.
You know, I missed the 3rd film.
Yeah, I haven't seen the third one yet.
Beth went to see it. I didn't see it. And I'm like, don't tell me that I weaned myself from the Hunger Games. But maybe I have.
It's a little weird because she's out of that whole thing now. It's like different.
What's that?
She grew up.
Jennifer Warren.
Well, she beat the system in some sense. So now they're in rebellion mode.
It's nearly as beneficial to talk about celebrities as it is to talk about ourselves.
Well, there are, are archetypal.
They are. Yeah, no, they're.
Really kind of like a god.
Mm-hmm. There's a revelation at hand. The revelation could penetrate the myth of continuity, the myth of repetition. You could be spontaneously invited to see through a set of eyes that you didn't even know you had. It's the novelty and the brand newness of your present observation, which turns out to be the destination of your observation.
Mm.
This is nonstop brand new, unconditioned from the so-called moment that may have just passed. Evocatively and profusely effusing in consciousness as consciousness, with no actual demonstration, no actual destination, no place to occupy. Though it doesn't quit. And as your mind learns to fast, you can just feel the ascension of it. Your present experience amounts to nothing more and nothing less than ascension. Even though you didn't start in a place, nor are you going to a place. Whether it's a lifting up or a falling through, not that important.
So it feels like both.
Yes, it can. So all that's present is profusion and attention. That's it. It turns out that profusion and attention are not two.
Hmm.
That's why the master might say attention is experience, because profusion and attention are not two. And you're not actually an intermediary. And the only way to feel it, even though it's all that's ever occurring, is you could say through the vehicle of a mind that begins to relax sufficiency from adhesion to discursive rumination.
Mhm.
And you're like, whoa, I'm not thinking about this shit, but it's still here. I'm sure feeling it. And what the fuck is it made of? Well, when you get down to the bottom of it, it's like, fuck, it's profusion and attention. And holy shit, profusion and attention are not separate. It's, fuck, it's just profusion, attention. And I was like, what? And there's no intermediary. That was easy. It goes good with wine, too.
It's like there's an eye on that wine.
Mm. There's a sigil on the bottle. The all-knowing eye. That's why we call it Natura.
All knowing eye. What an asshole. That's really what that symbol's about. It's like, look out.
It's real nice that you don't need this to be something. You don't need it to be about something. You sure don't need it to be about you.
Mm-mm.
It's a plasma. It's an absolutely undifferentiated plasma in which profusion as perfect differentiation occurs. But if you glimpse deeply into any symptom of profusion, what will you find? You'll find plasma. So you can't actually find something on the other side of attention. You can't find anything on the other side of attention as you peer into the profundity of differentiation. You just find more plasma, which is appearing as an infinity of profuse individuation or diversification. You're truly in a loop of disembodied profusion.
Feels like some kind of loop.
See, the attentivity doesn't abate, it doesn't quit. And the profusion also does not abate, it does not quit. And the attentivity and the profusion are one and the same. But it's a different nuance of, let's call it identification or recognition. When you see this and feel this as attention and profusion, as a plasma, full of differentiation, but you can't ever find anything on the other end of the apparition. So anything that you say about yourself or insist upon is a freezing of apparition. It's like, oh, you've made a fact out of absolute malleable ambiguity sufficiently that you can suffer. One has made a fact out of dissolving ambiguity with sufficient oomph or durability or confidence that now you suffer. Oh, because this is something. It turns out to be my crappy life. Everyone knows that.
You're a little creature looking for a reward.
Scurrying in the kitchen.
Yeah, you're a little mouse. Looking for chocolate.
Friend of Hanuman,
I know there's chocolate.
Friend of-
somewhere.
Ganesh,
Nowhere.
can you suck on glass?
No,
No?
Well, there might be
You
some
could.
drops on the
God
bottom
damn
there.
it. I'll just pour it into my eyeballs. Ah,
That is a nice wine.
let's get some more.
Good with like some good cheese.
Okay, next time we'll serve it with cheese. You come to a thing and maybe you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll come to this thing and someone will say something cool, or it'll be about something, or I'll get something, or I'll figure some shit out, or I'll get some teachings going on, or something. And then you realize, fuck, there's just nothing. God damn it. I went there to find something, and all those fuckers, all they do is, I don't know what they do, but it sure feels like nothing. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not even sure if I'm disappointed or not. I think I'll go next week.
Next help.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because what the fuck? So what did you learn at your class today?
I don't know shit.
Mr. Goodbar says, go fuck yourself. Do it today. When that sense of inner authority, which creates externalized authorities, starts to liquidate, then you just don't know what you're up against. Turns out nothing. Turns out to be nothing. But the collapse of authority is tantamount to the collapse of adhesion to discursive rumination. Yeah. Nobody knows nothing. Nobody's Genesis story is true. You don't have to wait around to be forgiven by Jesus. It turns out you are Jesus. Sorry about the bad news. I mean, it's not a popular statement. It could take the church right down. No.
You would definitely be burned on the cross for that one.
Well, burned after you were quartered and tarred and strewn about and minced. Burned would be the last thing they would do.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to speak too loudly about this stuff. Or for shit sure record it or put it on fucking YouTube.
Spanish.
Oops.
As long as
Oh my God.
as long as they know where to find us.
No, keep it low key. No one in this room is going to be invited to the Science and Non-Duality Conference. I'll tell you that much.
I thought you were the keynote speaker there. I was wrong.
But this is the craving, This is truly the craving of one's autonomy and one's being. You could say, to occupy your experience with absolute autonomy, beholding to nothing and no one, no God, no authority, no force of creation outside yourself. Nothing that would even dare to judge you. Your dignity is intrinsic. It's not conditional. Conditional dignity is the way of sorrow. Intrinsic dignity is the way of nirvana. And fuck nirvana.
Keep disappearing.
That's right.
The son of a bitch. What
Yeah.
happened to steady state theory?
There's just fractal luminosity. And it's not even that. Even that's it's a best we can do when you look kind of subtly at it. Whoa, fractal luminosity. Not really. You can't take a stand, you see. You can't occupy your present experience as the doer, as the decider, as a platform or a plateau. Whew, you're just liquidating. And all that appears to you is perfectly intimate and perfectly novel, full of song and story. It's a musical. It's fucking Oklahoma 24/7. Or not. It's quite fine to be in your ordinary consciousness as much of the time as you're in your so-called ordinary consciousness. It's not like you have to have some kind of cathartic event that turns the tables on you so that you're more in an evocative and insane consciousness more often than you are in ordinary consciousness. It's not that big a fucking deal. When you're in ordinary consciousness, whatever that might suggest, you sip from that. And when you're in the recognition of your divinity, of your uncompromising autonomy, sip from that. When you're done with preference, it doesn't matter whether you're acting out of some kind of OCD ritual to soothe yourself or whether you're swimming with the fishes. Gives a fuck.
Most likely A.
I mean, hit the bar, then OTB, then get to a meeting. It's fantastic.
They get knocked off because they OTB and swim with the fishes.
Then swim with the fishes because you've been betting against the wrong team.
Because you owe your loan sharks.
That's right. I've lost track of time, thankfully. Oh, look at that. It's 9:30 exactly.
Funny how that works.
That means that we'll be closing down. Thank you for joining us and listening in if you're going to be attending to the recording. We love you so much.